So you've heard of the Great Resignation, quiet quitting, and acting your wage. But have you heard the latest catchphrase in the job market? Yep, and it's something that might become more and more important to you the way things are going, and that is career cushioning.
These problems have been larger and longer lasting than anticipated, and no one knows with any certainty where the economy will be a year or more from now.
With the Federal Reserve Bank promising to break the back of the job market, ouch, destroy demand for goods and services so employers will slow their hiring. And from Fed Chair Jerome Powell to even more hawkish Federal Reserve members like Christopher Waller, who recently said, "I don't care about unemployment." You see, we're hearing more and more every day about massive layoffs, not just in the tech sector, but they're starting to hit other markets as well. The tech sector is understandable. They've been hiring without reserve for years now. So they're the first, obviously, to ease in their hiring or actually lead to layoffs. Yeah, so Silicon Valley is taking a hit, but it's soon coming to a neighborhood and to a field and to a career very close to yours the way things are going. So maybe it's time we figure out what career cushioning is and what it means for you to have a backup plan in light of the way things are going in today's job market. Hi, I'm James Callahan, and this is the Do-Over Show. And if you've ever had a do-over, you know that you've had to scramble when you've lost a job or your career simply evaporated and you had to find something new or start all over again. And that's happening more and more today because of the way our economy is forcing and moving the jobs market and careers.
Hi-ya.
And figuring out this new thing called career cushioning might be the most important preparatory element you can have. Preparatory element? I like that phrase. It might be the most important preparatory element in your repertoire. So here's the backdrop to it. Yes, there are about 2 job openings advertised for every person seeking employment today, but that number is inching lower and the Federal Reserve wants it to crash. Yes, they want to break the job market, and they've made that their purpose, to destroy demand. Demand destruction is the phrase they'll use, so that businesses won't have the inclination, they won't be advertising so many jobs, trying to hire. They'll start to slow down. And when hiring slows, that means that will indicate that they have done their job to bring demand down by destroying it, by raising inflation, by raising the rates in order to curb inflation. I know, it's a complicated twist of economic factors. And on the side, there you are standing wondering, do I have a job? Am I going to keep my job? Should I be looking for a new job? Should I have a backup plan? And that's where career cushioning comes in.
Talking la 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 like this is business as usual. It's not.
So this is a word to the wise. Have a plan B. Have some career cushioning built into how you conduct yourself as you work today in a tightening labor market, or at least a labor market that they're going to try to break.
We're trying to solve the problem here, Billy.
Not like this, you're not. You're not even looking at the problem.
We're very aware of the problem.
Okay, good. What's the problem?
I know what you're saying, but someone told you, your boss told you, you're really irreplaceable. After they gave you a 2% raise in your annual salary, even though inflation is at 8%, sorry about the pay cut, but they also told you, they threw you a little compliment. They said, you're irreplaceable because you're doing more, you're doing the work of others. Yes, you've shown yourself to be valuable. And by the way, that is the best advice that career experts give to those in the workplace today. And that is, when you see a tightening economy coming your way and you know that there might be some downsizing at all businesses, that means that now is the time to beef up your reputation inside your company, to be known for not only doing your job, but also being able to do the jobs of others, or actually being able to do some of what your boss does. Actually volunteering, hey boss, I see you do that. Can I help you with that? Can I take that off your plate? To show yourself more valuable in anticipation.
Jesus Christ. That's Jason Bourne.
Yes, I know, that doesn't match with the act your wage role and the quiet quitting role. But that market is only in your favor when it's in your favor. If you're on a team of, say, 5, 15, or 50 people, and things get a little rough, you're going to be the first to be let go, unless you can demonstrate that you are more valuable than the 10, 20, 50 other people on your team. If you're in sales and you're working on a commission, that's very different. But if you're on a team and you're all doing similar work, then you should be concerned about any shift in the economy which could cause a downturn which would directly impact your viability, the viability of your job, whether or not you're going to have a job in a few months or next year at this time. Oh, and that phrase, you're irreplaceable, The 2 times I've heard that, I was let go from both jobs, laid off because of a troubled economy, even though I was irreplaceable. One job because I was making the highest wage for everybody doing that. So they said, hey, we can fire James and we can save us a lot more money than if we fire this other person. Yeah, irreplaceable is a nice compliment they give you, but it rarely is true in the job market today. So how can we increase our odds of job security and continued employment, whether in our current role or a new role, in a downturn in the economy that's coming our way? Okay, if you're working a job that's advertised as no experience necessary, then you are in the most vulnerable position in any job market, but especially in a diverse job market. If you're working on one of those big teams with 5, 10, or 50 people and there's an economic downturn, yes, you're liable to suffer in an economic downturn and the downsizing that will come to all organizations if the effects of curbing inflation actually break the job market in your sector. And yes, if you're the top earner on your team, except for someone who's on commission, if you're making that money just because you've been there longer than someone else, yes, your role is vulnerable. Even if the organization says we value longevity, we want to keep our employees, when it actually comes time to the survival of the business or paying you a wage that's 10 or 20 or 30% more than the person sitting next to you who's been there 5, 10, or 15 years less, do you really think they're going to sacrifice their business just for their commitment to keep you and your longevity and to honor that? It's not the real world. And this is why, more than ever, career cushioning or having a plan B or having a working backup plan, not just another job, not just some side job that you work, but having something that you've been developing and working on, that career cushioning, having it part of your work life, yeah, that's going to be more important than ever. The first part of this is stay active in the job market. Now, it doesn't mean you advertise, you tell your boss, hey boss, I'm looking for a new job because it's a tough economy. By the way, you tell your boss you're looking for a new job, you'll be the first one out the door. Why? Because you lack loyalty. Yes, jealousy, insecure, yeah, it's synonymous with the word boss in most situations. So don't go advertising that you have a plan B. It's like telling somebody in a relationship, by the way, I love you, but if this doesn't work out, I've got so-and-so over here waiting. By the way, that's where the phrase career cushioning comes from, this relationship cushioning comes from, is that you don't delete the dating apps once you get into a relationship. So get over the insecurities of having a plan B, but you have to do it by working through it. That means staying active, keeping current on LinkedIn, developing networking, actually communicating with others, and stay active in your networking skills. Now, that means unsolicited, voluntary compliments and appreciation and interaction with others on social media, LinkedIn in particular, but also in direct emails with people in your field. Tell them, boy, I see the work you're doing. You guys are doing great over there. Are you doing it this way? What's happening here? Compliment them. Say, I saw the work you did. I saw that presentation. I heard you got that sale. That's fantastic. That's a tough sell. Congratulations on that. And even say to them, hey, it looks like you're working at a great place to work. That is, just drop the little hints that you are appreciative and you're paying attention to the job market, to their success. Get them on your side, not as your competition, but someone who can be your advocate in a company. Remember when LinkedIn says, you ever apply for a job on LinkedIn and the first thing it says is, hey, 3 of your connections work at this company. Reach out to them and let them know that you've applied for the job. And you look at them and you'd say, I don't know if they can help me or not. Oh my gosh, yes. Email every single one of them. Say, hey, I really look up to the work you're doing at that company. You have a great reputation in the field. There was an opening and I put my name in. I just wanted to let you know that I see your work and I appreciate it, and that's why I applied for this job doing X. But that also means that when the economy does take a turn, and if you happen to lose your job, then you're going to have to start from zero, from scratch. And the move from 0 to 1 is a lot tougher than the move from 1 to 2 or 5. Yeah, it's a simple notion of an equation. That is, to go from nothing to something is much more difficult than someone who is actively engaging on different levels. So it does take time. It does take an investment. I get it. But do you want to start from scratch when or if you lose your job? Now, I know that once you get that job, you just stop everything. You're like, whew, I'm done. I get to update my status on LinkedIn. Everybody knows I've got a new job and that I'm not looking. I'm not saying constantly bop from job to job every 2 or 3 months, but moving from a job to job every 2 or 3 years will get you almost 20% on average more over your work life in compensation than somebody who just stays for the same company for 20 years. Let that sink in. And that means that career cushioning can be job search light, doing that kind of networking, that social media outreach, that generosity, that complimenting, that interaction, whether in person or virtually. Take advantage of just being a better person in your field, of paying attention and showing others that you're active in your field, in your professional field. That's what a career is. It's not just that you're doing a job or a job or a job, but you're actually building up some momentum and capacity within a career in that role. Be somebody who has a career. And if you just go from job to job to job, then you need to find something in common in all the different jobs that you've done that actually can be put together as a career, and start to think that you've got this experience, and this experience. You put them all together and you get a career path for you. And it may have that variety. For me, it's higher education, nonprofit work, marketing, and communications, and copywriting. Yeah, I've done them all. Oh, I also used to teach tennis, taught golf for a little bit. Yeah, I've been in the teaching business for a long time. So yeah, I put all those things together and I've got a career. I am a communications architect. And if nothing else, the upside about being a better, more communicative person on social media and in your professional networking is it can increase your social score. Your social score is a simple equation of how people think of you when they think of you. And that is, do they think of that person as or do they look at that person and say, that person complimented me. That person actually pays attention. Do they look at you and say, yeah, that's the kind of person that I would like to work with? If that's your social score, that's the kind of social score you need as part of your career cushioning plan. And another important component in the career cushioning experience is that you might think about using some of your career experience, some of your capacity, some of the skills that you have, and do a little, moonlighting, do a little sidelight job, do a little consulting. It could be something very simple. You don't have to commit to hours and hours. It could be a simple project, helping a startup or an entrepreneur, getting involved, putting yourself out there as someone who is able to use the skills and the experience that you have, so that you show that you can also help a startup, an entrepreneur, start a small business. You can help somebody in the nonprofit space. Even if you're in the for-profit space, do something good for a change. Change the world by actually using your skills, which sell toothpaste, in order to get, dogs off the streets or cats defleed or whatever it is that really floats your boat. And by the way, when you do that, even if you do it as a gift in kind or pro bono kind of work, that goes on your resume as well. And they get to see that you are a well-rounded person that is able to do more than one thing as part of your career and your professional life. That will increase your social score as well. So by now you get it. Career cushioning is a way to keep yourself active and alive in the jobs market while you maintain your job, in light of the possibility of a job crunch coming our way. And one of the sidelights to this, even if the economy just turns around miraculously, inflation evaporates and everybody has a job and you get the wage that matches inflation next year instead of just that 2% bump, and that is, being active in the job market also gives you the kind of self-awareness, an ability to see what's out there so that you can say, hey, I can do that too. It gives you professional goals and aspirations. It gives you a way of going to your lead and telling them, you know what, I see this happening in my field and I'd like to spend time developing that as a value add in this role, but also as a value add for you professionally. That staying active in the job market shows you not only where you're going to get your next job, but it may actually help you in your current job, adding to your value at that role, even if nothing goes against you in the job market and you keep your job that you have today for the next 5, 10, 20 years. Being aware of the job market through career cushioning could give you a sense that, you could do something more valuable and develop your professional skills in ways that benefit you and the organization, the business that you work for, and benefits everyone. That is, career cushioning is just plain healthy. It's not an emergency escape. It's not a life insurance plan alone, although it can be that. Career cushioning is a healthy part of an active career life. You need an active career life today. And thanks for being part of the Do-Over Show. I really appreciate it. And could you please tap the like button, because it helps others see videos like this? Hey, and while you're down there, would you consider subscribing and ringing the notifications bell so you don't miss the next episode? I'm so glad you found me, and I found you. Thanks.